If you skip to the end of the video, please do me a favor and leave a like. It would help me out a lot. Even if you don't agree with my opinion, I'm trying to make it on YouTube, man, so help me out. Does your Marvel Rivals character take skill? I made this video a little while back, but I had a lot less hours on the game. So here we go. Let's get right into it. Now I've pretty much used every single character in this game, so I can tell you if they take skill or not. Starting off with Adam Warlock, I'm going to put this guy in kinda take skill. In the low ranks, this guy takes 0 skill, but in the high ranks, he's a pretty respectable main. I'm going to put him in kinda take skill to kind of even that out, because while he is a pretty simple healer, while you don't have to aim his heals, and while his main attack is pretty self-explanatory and his right click is also self-explanatory, his respawn mechanics with the ultimate can win or lose a game depending on when you use them. So in order to master this character, you're going to have amazing game sense, and you're going to have to play as a team in order to truly be a great Adam Warlock main. Black Panther, I'm going to put him in respectable main. I almost want to put him in almost not worth playing, but the thing is, once you get this character down, you have him down. But actually, now that I think about it, I am going to elevate him, because once you have this character down, he's not that good. That's the thing. Once you get his main combos rolling and you understand how to use this character perfectly, he's still not a top tier, even though he takes a lot more skill than a lot of the DPS characters in the game. So yes, his 2 dashes in his right click combo with the spin move at the end is pretty self-explanatory. In order to dash properly and hit marked targets and extend your dash usage, it's pretty tough, man. And even once you do master that, you don't have many bailout options. So I'm just going to put him in almost not worth playing. I don't think that he is good enough to warrant how much skill he actually takes to use. Black Widow, I'm gonna put in kind of take skill. The reason I'm not putting her lower, despite the fact that she's just a sniper character and all you have to do is aim and shoot, is because she has some pretty lucrative melee combos. If you can get good with her melee combos, you're going to be a better Black Widow main than most, and they definitely take skill to execute, as they're pretty precise, especially the zip to your opponent move into the headshot bread and butter. Next up is Hulk. I'm going to put this guy in not really, because mostly he just relies on his melee attacks, as well as his little jump attack and his bubble attack, which don't take a lot of skill to use, to be completely honest. If you're a good Hulk main, that means one thing, and that is you're relying on your heals a lot. Captain America, pretty much the same as Hulk. His shield mechanic does make it a little harder to play than Hulk, but I just don't think he's that skillful. And as a matter of fact, we'll put Doctor Strange next, because he also has a shield mechanic. However, I do think Doctor Strange kinda takes skill, despite being one of the best tanks in the game, if not the best tank in the game at this point. In order to be good with this character, you need to use the shield very good. You need to make sure that the shield is helping not only yourself, but also your entire team, and you need to make sure you're mixing in your attacks well with your defense. So in order to play Doctor Strange, you are going to have to put in a little bit of time with the character. Cloak and Dagger is a tough one, because a lot of good players do gravitate towards this character because she has so many options, man. There's so much going on with this character. However, her base kit is just not skillful, especially in her attack form when she has the Scarlet Witch auto tracking aim. Her heals are not auto tracking. You have to manually heal people, and her heals are honestly not that good. But with her blind and the healing gas that just covers way too much space, I'm going to put her in not really. You don't really have to have the best aim to be good with this character. You don't really have to aim at all besides healing people with the slow left click. That does require some aim, but even so, you can be good with Cloak and Dagger even if you have bad aim. Gru is a respectable main. Gru is definitely a skillful tank, probably the most skillful tank in the game. We'll see if I stand by that as we go through this list, but I think what makes this guy so skillful compared to the other tanks is the walls. The walls are extremely skillful. Now that might sound stupid, because on paper you're just placing walls everywhere, but if you want to be good with this character, the first thing you need to have is map IQ. You need to understand where to place your walls to fully benefit the team, and then besides map IQ, you also just have to have game sense, because when you can't take advantage of the map with your walls, you need to be able to place walls behind people while they're trying to back up. You need to be able to trap people and then place a spiky wall. There's a lot that goes into being good with the walls with this character, and the walls are very complex and single-handedly make this character extremely skill-based in my opinion. Now, I'm sorry, but Hawkeye has got to go in 0 skill. What do you really need to know with this character before you get mad at me? Even if you think that he takes absolutely precise aim, which just isn't true, this character has a lot of leeway on his shots. You can miss your shots and they will still connect, and I understand that's because it's a third-person game. Maybe you can aim to the right of someone's head and it'll hit anyway because it's a third-person game. However, that is just unacceptable when you're talking literally one-shotting characters with 250 health. But let's just say it is pinpoint aim. Let's just say you cannot have bad aim and be good with this character, which simply is not the case. But let's just say that. Even so, what do you truly need to be good with Hawkeye? Aim. That's all you need is aim. And besides that, there's not too much to focus on with this character. You have one melee attack that is basically just a get off of me. All you need to know is when people are close to you, just do the melee and knock them off of you. And then you have the move that kills people in the proximity, the wind arrow. The bomb arrow is pretty much just useless. So as long as you just look in the general direction of multiple opponents and hit E or the wind arrow and just connect on a few people, that's all you need with this character. You just need to hold left click, hit your shots, and shoot a wind arrow every now and then use the sword to say, get off of me. This is an extremely easy character. And it's the exact same thing with Gila. There's a reason that in every high level lobby, Gila is getting banned, and that is she just does way too much damage and takes way too little skill. All you have to do with Gila if you want to be a good player is just sit in the back, hold left click, and two-shot people. Or right click and just connect bombs to people. All you need to do is aim at people and left click and right click, and you're going to be good with this character. And then she has the stun, which she has no business having that stun. It makes her more broken than she already is. And I think undebatably Gila is actually the best duelist in the entire game, still after the nerf, which didn't really change too much. They just took 25 of her health. She still does an absolutely stupid amount of damage. If you're enjoying the video so far and you want to see more videos like this, consider subscribing. We are currently at 10K, so I guess we have no goal to hit, but I want to make more Marvel Rival content, so if you like watching it, subscribe so you can see my future videos. Next up is Iron Fist. Now, last time I made this video, I didn't even say anything for Iron Fist. I just implied that he took 0 skill, but that's not the case, man. When you're a low-level player, this guy is extremely annoying, but I think all high-level players will agree that Iron Fist is actually one of the weaker characters in the game. I thought this for myself as I played the game. I said, wow, Iron Fist really doesn't feel that strong. And then when I saw Necros say that he is one of the weaker drop heroes in the game, or rather the weakest drop hero in the game, at that point, it just concreted my opinion for this character, which is why I'm not going to put him in respectable main, because I think he's kind of easy and he gets way too much health when he does his little power up. But instead, I'm going to put him in kind of take skill. I think if you're using Iron Fist, as a matter of fact, I almost want to put him in almost not worth playing. I will actually, because he's just not good. Like, this character just isn't good, and if you get good with him, you're not going to get much off of it. I just don't see why you would get good with Iron Fist and not Black Panther or Spider-Man or similar job heroes, considering that Iron Fist really is just not good. Iron Man is an extremely weird character to rate because while he does take 0 skill, he's also not that good. But I'm not going to overthink it here. I'm just going to put him in 0 skill right below Gila and Hawkeye, because in reality, if you want to play Iron Man, all you have to do is just fly in the sky and shoot RPG shots. There's really nothing to him. He's not skillful in the slightest, let's be real. Jeff the Shark before I put him in 0 skill, but actually I'm going to put him in kind of take skill. And the reason for this is because his heals are kind of hard to hit, and his move where he dives into the ground, you have to have good spatial awareness in order to use this character correctly and fully utilize that move. Because while you're also watching people's health and trying to aim your heals at them, you have to pay close attention to your own health and recognize when to dive into the ground, and also not die when you dive into the ground, because there is a lot of characters that are capable of killing you while you're in the ground. So it takes a lot of game sense in order to be good with this character. You have to pay attention to a lot of things. Next up is Loki. This is a character that I have not personally used in game. I have dabbled a little bit with him in the practice range, but still, despite watching so many Loki players in my lobby, I wouldn't have a clue how to play Loki. I still don't understand how this guy's abilities even work, which is why I'm going to put him in kinda takes skill. I feel like if you don't spend 30 minutes in practice with this character, you're probably not going to do good with him at all. Just seems like a character that is pretty complex and has a huge skill gap. I don't like the fact that his colognes make him heal forever. I feel like that move is a little bit busted, but at the same time, you have to set up your clones properly in order to utilize that move. So I'm gonna put this guy in kinda take skill. Luna Snow. Now, what I like about Luna Snow in terms of how skillful she is the fact that you have to aim pretty much all of her attacks. You have to aim the right click, the left click. You have to know when to go into heal mode and when to stay in normal mode. Her movement is not that complex, but at the same time, she does have some form of movement with the roller skates. So you have to understand your positioning, know, when to get into skate mode. There's a lot that goes into playing this character. However, you are still probably going to be lurking in the back lines if you're playing this character because she's that type of healer. So she lands somewhere for me in between kinda take skill and not really, but I'm just gonna put her in kinda take skill at like the very end. I just don't think her skill is comparable to characters like Loki and Adam Warlock, but at the same time, she is a lot harder than Cloak and Dagger in my opinion. So I'm gonna put her in kinda take skill. And while I'm talking about Cloak and Dagger, don't misconstrue the fact that this character definitely has a high skill ceiling. And I understand if you are a skillful Cloak and Dagger main, you're probably putting in pain. Next up is Magic. Now, I don't think this character is as hard as Black Panther or Iron Fist. I feel like she's kind of corny. I feel like a lot of her stuff is kind of easy. Her combos are not that rewarding though, and when she does run out of tools, I feel like she is kind of screwed. I don't want to put her up here in respectable main because she's just not respectable. A lot of her moves have a huge hitbox, and I feel like you don't have to be too skilled to be good with this character, but at the same time, she's definitely not easy. This is one of the harder characters in the game. Is she worth playing? I feel like yes. I feel like once you get good with this character, she's definitely worth playing. But at the same time, I feel like there is other duelists in the game that will reap you more rewards for the amount of hours you are putting on Magic. So this is a very complex character to rate for me. But all said and done, man, I'm going to put her in almost not worth playing. I just feel like if you put 10 hours in on Magic, you're almost guaranteed to be better off putting that 10 hours on someone else, because while she is pretty solid, I really do think she is a clear-cut mid-tier. I don't think she's too good of a character, so even getting good with her, I just don't know if it's worth it. But some of her moves are just kind of ridiculous, dude. Next up is Magneto. Honestly, I haven't put too much time on this character, but as far as I'm concerned, man, he just seems like Doctor Strange, but worse, which is why I'm just going to put him right alongside Doctor Strange for the exact same reasons that I have Doctor Strange in kind of take skill. Next up is Mantis. Mantis, I really do not think is a skillful healer, man. I feel like her sedation combo is kind of easy, and that's really her bread and butter. That's really the only thing you need to learn in order to fully understand Mantis. I know this character has a huge skill gap, but I also feel like it's pretty concrete at this point that she is the best healer in the entire game, which is why I just gotta put her in not really. You don't have to aim her heals. She seems pretty simple as far as combat is concerned, and all in all, I just think there's far more skillful healers in the game than Mantis. Moon Knight is another character I just can't help but put in not really. I recently started playing Moon Knight a little bit just for fun because he is a really fun character, man. Using his ult in the unks it feels pretty rewarding, but at the same time, he's just not skillful. The main thing that makes this character special is his unks, and it is literally a mechanic that makes it so that you don't have to aim with this character. You just throw the unks down and then shoot at them, and they do a lot of damage. It's pretty ridiculous, man. Now, don't get me wrong, you have his left click, his right click, and all of his movement options that definitely give him a little bit of a skill ceiling, which is why I didn't put him in 0 skill, which a lot of people would argue this character is easier than Hawkeye and Gila, but I would just disagree with you. I do think he takes a little bit of skill, because if you want to use the grappling hook and the glider and stuff, then you gotta put in a little bit of pain, but I think not really is the perfect slot for this guy. Next up is Namor. Now, people might get mad at me for this. Actually, I don't know. I don't think a lot of people will get mad at me for this. Namor is equipped with turrets that make it so he doesn't have to aim. He has a bailout button that literally just allows him to hover in the air while he's being attacked. And then you just throw spears with this guy that I don't even believe are hit scan. So I think it's pretty concrete that this guy doesn't take skill, dude. I really just don't see how anyone could think this guy takes skill. You just throw the turrets down and they just do everything for you, and then you just spam left click. So yeah, Namor, 0 skill, dude. Tried playing Penny a little bit, and the thing is, her main attack is extremely weak, man. It feels like a actual pea shooter, but the landmines as well as the web stun feel pretty ridiculous to me. It does seem like she is a good tank that doesn't take too much skill, to be completely honest with you. Granted, I didn't even learn how to set the landmines, so maybe it's some extremely complicated process, but I doubt it, man. It feels like you just put the landmines on the ground, web people, and spam left click, which is why I'm going to put her in not really. She seems like a pretty easy tank to play. Let me know if I'm wrong on that though, because I haven't put in a lot of time on that character. Next up is Psylocke. Now, I haven't talked about this on this channel yet, but Psylocke was my main before Spider-Man, and I actually have a lot of hours on this character. I have the Lord banner, and I played her on another account. I think all in all, I have about 28 to 30 hours on Psylocke, so I definitely have my fair share of Psylocke gameplay. And if you ask me when I was maining this character where I would put her, maybe I'd put her in respectable main, but that's just ridiculous at this point, dude. I don't think she's a respectable main at all. As a matter of fact, I think she is a little bit broken. Now, don't get me wrong, her left click is not very strong, and her moves have a huge cooldown, especially her invis. I think it's like 12 seconds, but the cooldowns do get a little bit shorter as you attack people. But I think it's pretty ridiculous that you can just go invisible and then left click, right click people to pretty much get an instant kill on them. So I almost honestly want to put her in not really, and I think the main reason I'm putting her in not really is for the little bit of bias that I have with this character. This character is prone to getting a lot of eliminations, which fools people into thinking they're a lot better than they are, which is why I'm going to say she doesn't take too much skill, because a lot of people think they're great with this character, but in reality, they're not really doing much, man. They're just spamming left click and right click and racking up stupid amounts of damage. Really, I think she's kind of comparable to Gila, except she does take a little more skill because she's equipped with the movement options. Next up is Punisher. I think it's no surprise that we have to put this guy in 0 skill. This is probably one of the easier characters in the entire game. All you have to do is spam left click and aim in the general direction of people, pull out the shotgun occasionally and just shoot at people, and then get on the turret and just aim at people and shoot at people. Pretty self-explanatory character. I don't think he's hard at all. He's got the zip line, and you can actually optimize this character with the zipline and make him pretty skill based, so I guess his skill ceiling isn't too low. However, most Punisher players are going to be in the 0 skill category. Now, here's the thing with Rocket, man. A lot of people have been hating on this character lately, but if you want to be good with Rocket, you're pretty much relying on one thing, and that is your movement. If you want to be a good Rocket player, you have to have good movement, and guess what comes with having good movement? Good game sense, good map IQ. And your main attack is kind of weak, but you also need to have pretty good awareness, because you're going to have to use your main attack to take out unks and turrets and things of that nature, while all at the same time focusing on healing your teammates, which, you know, this guy is equipped with a pretty easy way to heal people. But because he relies so heavily on his movement and his awareness and map IQ and things of that nature, I'm going to put him in respectable main. I almost want to put him in almost not worth playing, because people are saying he's one of the weaker healers in the game, but I'm not seeing that, man. I'm seeing a pretty good healer when I see Rocket, which is why I'm going to put him here. Next up is Scarlet Witch, one of the easiest characters in the game. Once again, I don't think anyone is going to argue with me putting her down here. While she is one of the weaker duelists in the game, that is because once you learn how to play Marvel Rivals, you're expected to switch off of this character. This character is literally just made for new players to try to understand the game and make it so they don't have to aim, or casual players who aren't too big of gamers to just have fun. So yeah, I think Scarlet Witch belongs in the 0 skill category for sure. Sorry, allow me to make a quick adjustment here. I'm just going to put Adam Warlock in respectable main. After thinking about it and seeing him alongside these other characters, I do think Adam Warlock is actually pretty respectable. Next up is Spider-Man, my personal main. I don't want to be biased here, and I definitely don't think Spider-Man is that weak. I do think he's weak. Is he the worst character in the game? No, I don't think so. Is he better than Black Panther and Iron Fist? Absolutely. Is he better than Magic? That's debatable, man. I do think he's a low tier, maybe below a mid tier, but I would actually put him in almost not worth playing. I just think in the time it's going to take you to learn Spider-Man, you're better off playing a character like Psylocke or a character like Hawkeye, Gila, Namor, Punisher, maybe not Iron Man or Scarlet Witch, or Moon Knight. Yeah, there's just so many other duelists in the game that are more rewarding to play than Spider-Man. He is a drop hero, so he's got his role, but at the same time, he's just kind of weak and he takes a lot of skills, so I'm going to put him in almost not worth playing. Next up is Squirrel Girl. I'm going to put Squirrel Girl in not really. She has very basic movement options. Her main attack isn't hit scan. And yeah, that's about it, man. There's not much to her. You just kind of spam left click and you're going to hit people. Star-Lord. Star-Lord, honestly, is a respectable main in my opinion, man. I've seen some very respectable Star-Lords lately. And the reason for that is his right click, the thing that allows him to barrel roll dodge. If you want to be a good Star-Lord main, you have to learn how to use that move extremely well. And at this point, a lot of Star-Lords are learning to use that move extremely well. And you have to have good aim after using that move, which is also hard because you're moving extremely fast and unpredictably throughout the air. So I think respectable main is a good spot for Star-Lord. Next up, Storm. Dude, I almost want to put Storm in 0 skill, honestly, dude. I feel like her main attack just does way too much damage, and if you have good healers, you're unstoppable with this character. One of the best ults in the game. I just almost want to put her in 0 skill, but I haven't played her enough to know what her other moves do, which is why I'm going to put her in not really for the time being. I don't think she takes too much skill as of right now, but I couldn't tell you, man. Thor seems like a character that is a respectable main. His projectile is very weak. His dive attack is not the best. He has that currency, which definitely holds him back a little bit. And then his main attack, the melee, you have to get close. And honestly, I feel like he's not the best tank in the game. Pretty weak ultimate. Just all in all, man, Thor is just kind of a weak character that takes a little bit of skill thanks to the limitations on his ability. So I think respectable main is a good spot for him. Venom, I'm going to put Venom in. He lands somewhere in between, kind of takes skill and not really. He's a pretty easy tank to play in my opinion. Not much to him. He's got movement unlike a lot of tanks in the game. But is he more skillful than Penny Parker? It's a toss-up, man. That's a matter of opinion. I couldn't tell you where to put him. Man, not really is getting crowded, but I think between Penny Parker and him, I couldn't tell you who takes more skill, which is why I'm going to put him in not really. Winter Soldier, man. Winter Soldier, I'm sorry. This is going to make some people mad. This is going to ruffle some feathers, but I just don't see where this guy takes any skill, dude. I'm just going to put him in 0 skill. All he has is a pistol with 3 shots. All you have to do is aim and hit your shots, and then his other moves are just ridiculously broken. You know, you got the get over here move. You got the little aura blast that you don't even have to aim correctly. I just don't see how this character takes skill. He's pretty self-explanatory, pretty easy to play. But as a matter of fact, as he only has 3 bullets in the chamber, and I'm looking at these other duelists down here, I don't think it's right to put him all the way down here. I think with Psylocke and Squirrel Girl is a great spot for him. Wolverine, respectable main. Say what you want. I know he's got a lot of health, but I think respectable main is a good slot for him because he's still just not that strong even after the buffs. Is he as weak as a lot of people make him out to be? No, I don't think he's the worst character in the entire game, but I do think he is just meh. So respectable main, good slot for him. He definitely takes a lot of skill to be good with. Mr. Fantastic, I really couldn't tell you at this point, but what I can tell you is this guy seems pretty self-explanatory, but he also seems pretty weak, which is why I almost want to put him in almost not worth playing, but he has so much health. So I don't know. It kind of seems reliant on the healers here. I could pretty much put him anywhere, but I guess I'll just put him in kind of take skill. And then finally, Invisible Woman. Oh man, this is another weird one. I feel like Invisible Woman is in contention for best healer in the game. As of right now, I think she's a little more skillful than Cloak and Dagger, but I also haven't even played this character. I just went into practice and checked her out. Not like that. I have checked her out on different screens, but I'm going to put her in respectable main for now. Let me know what y'all think about this and subscribe if you are new. Leave a like on the video, and yeah, I'll see y'all later.